Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Divisional weekend of the BSB. I'm Sean Kaus. On the other screen, we have my good friend, Tony James, my brother from another mother. We are your betting strategy brothers. Tony, how you doing, my brother?
I'm all right, BS. What's happening with you, man?
Oh, divisional round, and I'm still talking about the Bills.
Bills, yeah, man. They slid
Bills.
the wagons last week. They came out.
So,
I think we were texting, and Tyler Bassett that field goal, and I thought that might have put it away, but then Felipe pulls some magic out of his rear end, but Buffalo held off at the end. It was beautiful. It was beautiful.
hey, good teams know how to win games.
100%. And I'm excited for Buffalo. They deserve it. I'm excited for Josh Allen. I'm excited for you. But I'm going to hold back a little bit because we are going to talk about those games later on, and I don't want to piss you off just yet.
Oh boy!
So
you're entitled to your opinion, no matter how wrong it is.
That's exactly right. and if you look at my last week, I have a lot of wrong opinions. How was your week, though?
Betting wise, personally, I did all right. What we did on the show, I'm down. I'm down less than half of what I bet last week, so that's good. I won. Like I said last week, I'm betting on Bama. I bet $10 on Bama, and that was only because I was distributing my $100. In real life, I bet more on Bama because I knew that was going to be a blowout. My $10 only won $3, but it was worth it. I knew it was going to happen. I'll take my $13. I'm good with that. My round robin, man, it would have been big if freaking Washington would have pulled that out, but they didn't. But I still got 32 of my 40 back from that.
Good.
So I'm good with that. My if bets, I had Pittsburgh screwed a lot of people, I'm sure.
100%.
Or maybe they made a lot of people money if they just said, screw it, I'm just putting a couple bucks on Cleveland on the money line. But they screwed me on that, but I still got $7 back from that. So all in all, I'm down less than 50, but I'm going to throw this out there. You know I love you, but I'm going to give you shit. I was right about Baltimore.
You were.
I was right about the Rams.
Yes.
So
yes,
I'm giving you shit about that.
And the only thing that I got was I pushed on the Buffalo over thanks to that miracle last touchdown drive by Felipe Rios. So I got that money back. But yeah, I had the Seahawks, and that was terrible. And I had Tennessee, and that was terrible. And then I had New Orleans over, and that wasn't so good either. So by the time it came down to the evening, I pretty much gave up. And it's probably a good thing because I was probably going to take Pittsburgh. But the great thing about this is now we have 4 games this week that we have the Elite 8, if you will, and we can go get into those games and see how we can make some money, because this is going to be a week where we're going to see Kaus open up the prop bets a little bit more and try to go to the window. So we'll see what we got there.
Well, I apologize for my arm there for a second there. I had to pour me a nice frosty glass of my flavor of the week, which is my Irish roots there. Got a little Guinness in there. I love Guinness. It's one of my favorite. I can't wait to someday to go to Ireland. I've had friends that have gone there and gone to the Guinness factory and said, dude, it's so good there and it's warm.
Mm-hmm.
I can't wrap my head around that. It does not compute. But I love Guinness. It's not great. It's not the best from a bottle, but it's good. It works, especially in COVID times, sitting at home. I'll take it in a bottle. There's nothing like getting in a draft in a bar, and I'll drink. I'll drink it any day of the week. I'm not just a St. Patty's Guinness person. I love it. And this is a harp glass from a St. Patrick's Day of 2005, actually back in New York.
Nice.
But I used to bartend, and I drink it all the time when I was bartending, and so I liked it. So that's what I'm drinking this week.
Those are good, and when you get back there, you got to make sure you get your certificate for pouring the perfect pint, right?
Yeah, that's right. I don't think I did a perfect pint this time, but that's because this might be 3 or 4 in already. So
it's perfect.
What are you drinking this week?
Well, I'm running in the morning, and so I wanted something very light and kind of not going to weigh me down too much. So I went with my old standby, a little ways through it right now, a little Pink Whitney in the Qua here. But of course, it's the Target knockoff La Croix. And it's light, it's refreshing. It gives me that little boost of energy. And I had a couple drinks last night watching the hockey game, and I didn't want to get too crazy, especially knowing that I'm going to run tomorrow. So, but tomorrow when I'm done, I have a whole day of television time planned, and so I will definitely be hitting the brews tomorrow.
Nice. I just showed you my Paw Patrol cup. That is my drinking water cup, because you always got to hydrate when you drink. Always, always, always. I know you have your hydro flask there. I've got my little Paw Patrol cup.
That was Marshall, if I remember right.
It is Marshall. We got the fire and rescue, and I got a red and white there, and a little blue for my Bills. Red, white, and blue.
Heck yeah.
All right, so we're gonna do it a little bit differently this week. Normally, we just go into picks and talk about the teams as we make our bets. But we're going to kind of talk about the games first, since there's only 4, and then we're going to get into our actual bets on what we're betting. So, Tony, why don't you start with game number 1, the Rams at Green Bay?
Well, it's really interesting to note that this is the first time that these two teams have played in the postseason in Green Bay. The previous 2 times, once was in St. Louis. That was the last time they played each other in 2002, and the Rams just pretty much blew them out of the stadium. But that was a long time ago. This is going to be a very interesting matchup, because it's like the immovable object and the unstoppable force. You have the number 1 offense in the Packers and the number 1 defense in the Rams. And this is what we paid to watch in the postseason. We pay to see these matchups. So this is going to be a very, very interesting matchup to see if the Rams can shut down Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers had a career high 48 touchdown passes that threw 5 interceptions this year. But, the Rams, I didn't think they were going to stop Seattle last week. They did. I thought they were going to have their hands full, and that game was pretty much over at halftime. So this is going to be a very exciting game, in my opinion.
I agree. It is going to be a tale of 2 halves. It really is. When you look at Green Bay, they've outscored opponents 299 to 163 in the first half, but they've been outscored in the second half and overtime, 127 to 107. So it's really going to be a tale of 2 halves. And under McVay, LA is 37-0 when they go in winning at halftime. 37-0. That's insane.
That is unbelievable.
That is just freaking insane. So it is going to be a tale of 2 halves.
So this goes back to what we were saying about, with Green Bay gets off to the fast start. Well, if the Rams can hold off that fast start and find a way to go into halftime with the lead, they're going to be in a really good position to pull this off.
I agree. And this is a really good time if you have a bookie or if you're in Vegas. Make sure they're taking live bets on the second half, because that's where if LA goes in winning in the second half, I'm throwing a bunch of money on that second half for LA to win on the money line. And I don't care what I'm getting for my money.
Yeah, that's a really good point. And in addition, if they get the lead, it's just going to be a handoff parade. They're not going to try and risk Jared Goff getting more injured. It's just going to be the Cam Akers show. And if they can run the ball against Green Bay, and they can get up 6 points, 9 points in the second half, you'll see a very conservative offense and a clock that just ticks by with Rodgers on the bench.
I think they do that anyway, though. Cam Akers is on fire. He's been running the ball like crazy. They look great when he's running the ball. Let him run the ball, let Goff play action on it. And I think that's how they win that game, and I think they're going to do it. But look, this is, like you said, this is what we pay for. Number 1 O versus number 1 D. And it's the old adage, defense wins champions. Well, that's kind of switched over the years, and now it's defense gets you there and offense wins it. And, jury's out in what they say. I don't – like you said, Rodgers is on fire. I mean, he's absolutely on fire. I'm very pissed that he's on fire because if he wasn't so on fire, the MVP would go to Allen hands down, no question. But with him being on fire, now there's debate about that, and we can debate that all day long. But the last time we had a number one offense versus a number one defense in the playoffs, do you know who that was?
I'm sure you're going to tell me in about 5 seconds.
I am. I just wanted to see if you knew it. New England Patriots
versus
the Atlanta Falcons.
Right? Falcons.
And look how that turned out. Who won? The number one D won.
Yeah, well, I think this is for another show, I'm sure, but I think Atlanta outcoached themselves in that game. They got ahead and they just lost their minds.
I agree, but you look at it, and we were even talking about, how defense, what were we talking about, the 9-3 games and the 9-6 games when we took Tampa Bay, New Orleans and stuff like that. And it was back in the league when defense used to win football games, and that's what you depended on in defense. I still think defense comes out on top in this. I really do.
Well, and we talk about the defense, and Green Bay makes their name out of offense, right? Aaron Rodgers is what he is. He has all his weapons, but Green Bay's defense was in the top 10 this year as well, and a lot of people overlook that. So we look at this battle of the Rams defense and like the vaunted Rams defense. We're talking about them like they're the 46th defense of the Bears, but the Packers are going to come in here with a very balanced defense themselves. So it's going to be tough. I think points may be tough to come by on both sides. I see this as kind of a middle of the road scoring game. But I do see the Rams hanging in there. I see the Packers winning, but I see the Rams hanging in there for sure.
And here's my problem with the Packers. When you look at the games they lost to Tampa Bay, they lost to Minnesota, they lost to Indianapolis. Okay, those are the 3 losses this year. When you look at their wins, yes, they beat New England. Yes, they beat San Francisco, I kind of say is quality because their defense is good, not their offense. Tennessee is a quality win, but that was way back in the beginning of the season. They haven't really beat good freaking teams. I mean, they haven't. I mean, you have a good team in the Rams, and the Rams proved it last week. And I know the Rams are on a lot of people's no trust list, and we've talked about them being on our no trust list before at different points this season. But they are still a good team. They are here for a reason. And Sean McVay is going to dial something up, and I really think that they're going to be too much to handle in the defensive side. For Rodgers, he's going to get frustrated, and they're just going to let Cam Akers take over that game.
I think that's the plan for the Rams. They want to shorten the game. They really do. They want to shorten that game and get the ball, keep Rodgers off the field. I mean, the Packers played 3 playoff teams this year: the Bears, the Bucks, and the Colts. Or I'm sorry, 4, and the Titans. So yeah, they weren't world beaters by any stretch of the imagination, but good teams beat the teams that they're supposed to beat. And the Packers are a good team. They're hosting this game for a reason. So
I agree, but they should have beat Minnesota. They lost to Minnesota. Like
I agree. I agree. But I think there's always a game. There's always a game that through in the season that you're supposed to win, and somebody. So Kansas City lost to the Raiders. How does that happen?
Yeah, so, I agree. And that's coming from a Raiders fan, so that says a lot. But here's one thing I will say about this game before we get into our bets is that I've heard a lot of people, saw a lot of people have asked me, dude, how can you not take the over in this game? Rodgers is going to get him himself. That defense is too good, and that offense is going to slow the game down too much, where I don't know that the over is a good pick unless you're possibly teasing it. So, and we'll talk about that in picks later, but that's kind of where I'm looking at this game.
Yeah, I look at and we talk about in baseball, we talk about with the specialists and shortening the game, right? Taking it from a 9 inning game to a 7 or 6 or 5 inning game, and the same thing happens in football. You run that football, this game shortens. Like, I mean, with a 40-second clock between plays, you're running 3 plays, and there's 3 minutes taken off the clock. So that's going to be the Rams' goal, is to shorten this game, because if Rodgers is not on the field, he can't do any damage, and that minimizes your risks. So that's why I think the Rams are going to hang in there. But I don't know. I think Green Bay is going to pull this off somehow.
Yeah, I could see it going either way, but I don't know. It's tough. We'll talk more about it later. All right, let's go to the next game. Let's go to my Buffalo Bills, baby, against the Baltimore Ravens. What do you got for me on this game? Prove to me why you're going to piss me off, and I'm going to prove to you why, even though you can have your opinion, it's always wrong.
Man, I was hoping you go first. I think you got 2 teams. You got Buffalo, and Buffalo's a great story. They got some experience last year. They got more experience this year, and now they won a playoff game, which is fantastic, right? You got the Ravens. A lot of people forget the Ravens. Lamar Jackson won his first playoff game last week, and
so did Josh Allen.
A lot of people forget about that. So, why do I think the Ravens are going to win this game? Which I do. I think they're going to win this game.
I know you do. You were wrong about Tennessee last week, so you're going to be wrong about Baltimore this week.
I was very, very impressed with their game plan against Tennessee last week. I was very impressed with the defense last week. I picked that game to go over. It didn't have a prayer of going over, and it was pretty much Baltimore's defense the entire time. This is another game that I see Baltimore using their strengths to win this game, and their strength is rushing the football. They're going to run the ball as well. My concern, if I'm rooting for the Ravens, is the pass defense, because we've seen how Josh Allen attacks a defense. And we see how in such a short period of time, he's gotten really good at reading the defense and improvising. And he's got more weapons this year than any Bills team that I can recall in the last 15, 20 years. And that concerns me if I'm rooting for the Ravens. Is Buffalo has to throw the football to win, and my passing defense is good, but I'm just a little concerned about it.
Well, you're right. Buffalo they're not a running team, and they need to get more balanced against Baltimore to have a shot. I agree with that. But here's the thing. First of all, Buffalo is tied for the second-rated offense versus Baltimore's 7th-rated defense. So better offense versus a great defense. I'm not arguing that. But when you're looking at numbers, Buffalo is ahead against the D. Whereas when you look at Buffalo's D, yeah, they're ranked 14th, but Baltimore's D is only ranked 15th. So when you look at that matchup, that's such a close matchup. When you look at last year, when they played in 2019, when Buffalo played Baltimore, when Lamar Jackson won the freaking MVP, his MVP year, and Buffalo was not having a good year. They held Lamar Jackson to 145 yards, 3 touchdowns and an interception. Now that 3 touchdowns, okay, fine, but they held him to 145 yards. 145 yards passing. He is not going to get the ball if they're going to have to run it. It's going to slow the game down on their side of the ball. Buffalo's going to score lightning quick. They're going to. They're going to hit Beasley under, Brown over, Beasley under. Boom, there goes Diggs. Beasley under. They're going to do that, Knox under. They're going to do a lot of that stuff. Buffalo's going to score quick against that defense, and then Baltimore's offense is going to have to run the ball, and they're not going to keep up. I do think it's going to be a shootout, so look for this now. Last I saw, it may or may not snow. Lamar Jackson is afraid to play in the snow. He's never done it before, which it amazes me how you can play football, high school, college, NFL for this long and never played a game in the snow. Like when I heard him say that, it amazed me. Mm-hmm. But if it snows, that adds a whole other dimension. And can he handle that? Obviously, he's playing cold, not playing in snow. I don't know if you guys remember the snow game last year. when the Bills were there, or 2 years ago with the Bills, where they had to freaking plow out the yard lines. He's not going to have success in that. Baltimore's not going to have success in that. And then when you look at what Josh Allen has done, he torched the Rams. He torched the Rams, who we just talked about having the number one defense. He torched them. He torched Pittsburgh, who Pittsburgh was definitely the worst undefeated team at 11-0, but they still had a solid defense. He torched the 49ers, who had a great defense. And man, did he make Miami look bad. And all you heard about was Miami's defense. And 2 times this year, he made Miami look bad. So he can do, and those are top 5 defenses. At the time when he played them, they were all top 5 defenses. So now you're looking at a top 7 defense that he's going to light up. When you look at the blitz, Josh Allen has been blitzed more than any other quarterback in the league. And who does the most blitzing? Baltimore Ravens.
That'd be the Ravens.
So against the blitz, he is first with 17 TDs. He's second with a quarterback rating of 93.4 against the blitz. Like, they are not going to have enough of an answer against Josh Allen to do it. Now, Zach Moss is out for Buffalo. That hurts, but I really think Singletary is better than what they've been letting him do this season. They're going to give him the ball, and they're going to run for it. Buffalo wins this all the way. Like I said, there's no way this can't win. So you're looking at Buffalo now. The spread is 2.5. I do agree with that spread. It's going to be a tight game. It really is going to be a tight game. The over is going to be tough. It is going to be a tight game. I take Buffalo on the money line here, but Buffalo comes out on top, no doubt.
I think you're right. I mean, the Ravens gave up just under 19 points a game this year, and that was second in the league. Their defense is very good. And you have Lamar Jackson, who rushed for 1,000 yards. So he's going to be the guy, right? He's going to be the one. He's going to be the key to stop for Buffalo. If you can stop Lamar Jackson, then you're going to win the football game. I just don't see how they're going to stop him.
His MVP year, they held him to under 64 yards. MVP year, they held him to under 64 yards. And that was when the offense couldn't produce shit. The defense was on the field way more than it is. They are going to handle them easily. Not easily. It's going to be a close game, but they are going to handle them.
I really like the way the Ravens are playing right now. I do like the way the Buffalo is playing. I really like the way the Ravens are playing. And I think you brought this up last week when we were talking about Tennessee and the Ravens and how I picked against the Ravens and I picked Tennessee. And we were talking about how when the Ravens had their big COVID disaster, that's when they played. Since then, they have reeled off 6 straight wins.
Yeah, and Buffalo's got – I mean, it's a battle to see Buffalo's got 7 straight wins, so it's a battle to see whose win streak ends. Mm-hmm. But I agree. I said it last week, and I still do agree. I don't think this is an easy win for Buffalo. I don't. But it's a playoffs. Nobody's supposed to have an easy fucking win. Nobody.
Nothing easy.
I mean, unless you snap the ball of the quarterback's head the first play of the game and it goes for a touchdown, then it's an easy game. But
now we're going to have to talk about that one in a minute. We'll talk about our picks in a little bit about how I'm going to bet that Buffalo-Baltimore game. You want to go into the Cleveland game real quick?
Yeah, let's get into that. Look, Cleveland showed last week that they can play with a lead. They got break after break after break in that first quarter. The first snap of the ball goes over his head. And first of all, that's Big Ben's fault. He should have that fucking ball. He pussyfooted that. He didn't want to get anywhere near trying to get hurt doing. I understand he's coming off an injury last year, ended his season. I get that part of it, but dude, it's a playoffs. You don't jump on that ball. You take a safety instead of them getting a touchdown. You still have a better shot, and you're still in a better mode. Whereas taking that touchdown, putting the defense back, it started the whole game off wrong. They didn't have a prayer since then. Cleveland can play with the lead, and they prove that. Can they play from behind, which is what I think they're going to have to do with Kansas City? I don't think so. Something going in Cleveland's favor is the fact that their offense and Kansas City's defense are both ranked 16th. Both of them. So you got the 16th offense with 16th defense. It's a good showdown. The problem is Kansas City's offense was ranked number 1. And Cleveland's defense was 17. Like that doesn't work. Now Cleveland's going to have their head coach back, and I almost think after last week that might be a problem for them. And I'm not saying anything against Stefanski, but it's just they did so good last week without him. Like sometimes there's that motivational piece. Washington turned around for Ron Rivera when they found out he got cancer. There's that motivational piece. Like, hey, he's got COVID. Let's play for him. Okay, you got Kareem Hunt coming back to Kansas City for the first time. That's got another underlying. He's going to want to turn it off there. And then you got Mahomes versus Mayfield. And last time they played was in college, Oklahoma, Texas Tech, and they were the two of them set freaking record after record after record. Mahomes threw 88 passes, completed 52 of them. He threw for 714 yards. He had 819 total yards. All of those were NCAA records. Mayfield had 7 touchdowns, an NCAA record. There were fireworks the last 2 times those 2 quarterbacks played. But I really hate when it's Mahomes versus Mayfield, or it was always Peyton versus Brady. I hate because quarterbacks don't play each other. They play the defenses. I hate that comparison. I just knocked my microphone over. I understand it, but I hate that comparison. But last time they played, there were fireworks, so I expect to see a lot here.
I completely agree with you with Cleveland playing in front versus behind. They got up 28. You're right. They got every break. But what that one play gave fired the defense up. The defense plays one snap, they're up 7-0, and they know that they can do anything against that Pittsburgh team. And then I think he had 3 interceptions in the first half, and it was just a gong show for the Steelers. But the thing was, they got up the Browns got up 28-0, and then they got outscored the rest of the game. And that's what concerns me. We talked several weeks ago. We talked about Northwestern. Northwestern was really good last year playing with the lead because of their defense. But when they played Ohio State, once they fell behind in that Big Ten title game, they were done because they could not play from behind. I see the exact same thing in Cleveland Browns. I think their offense is great. They're going to have to run the ball to win the game, which Kansas City's defense against the run is not great. So they're going to have to get a big day out of Nick Chubb, but I see Kansas City just coming out and putting 21 up really quickly, and that's going to be the end for the Browns. Now, we talked a lot about Pittsburgh sitting their starters and Pittsburgh stood out to me because Pittsburgh sat their starters and Cleveland barely won in week 17. And then here come the starters back next week, and they look like a dog's breakfast. So I think Kansas City is way different. I don't think Andy Reid lets him get like that. I think Kansas City is going to come out fired up and ready to go. They have a chance to be the first AFC team to host 3 consecutive AFC championship games with a win. They are the team to beat in the AFC. I think they roll over Cleveland. I see them winning 42-20-21.
Well, the big thing here is look at Andy Reid's record coming off the bye. It's 902.
Isn't he amazing?
Yeah, off the bye, he's 900 wins and 2 losses off the bye. Obviously, it's not right, but you get my point. He is amazing off the bye. He just is when he has that extra time to be, and he's one of the greatest coaches in the world, ever. He is in that Bill Belichick reign, even though Belichick's the best and Belichick has the most wins and everything. That was a product of a coach and a quarterback being on the same page and getting shit done there together. That was just the right situation. When you look past that, Reid is right there. He really is. I found the stat for you, my friend. He's 18-3 in regular season games following the bye and 5-2 in the playoffs. So 23-5. I'm not betting against that. No. I'm not bad. Something to bet against that. But you mentioned you mentioned the name, right? Belichick. This is Belichick-like, and he's got his guy. He's got his team rolling. They basically went 14-1 if you throw out the last game when they played half their team. And the one game they lost was by one possession. And that's what I was just going to say. Here's the only thing I'm going to say about this, if you're betting KC, be careful with the points. They haven't covered a 10-point spread in I don't know how many weeks it was. I think it was something like 8 or something like that. They haven't covered 10 points.
Mm-hmm.
So, yes, KC is an explosive offense, but the defense is keeping other teams in the game. The defense is the other team's best player, and they're keeping them in the game. So, just be wary of betting that 10 points. I understand it's Cleveland, and I understand it's Baker, and we're waiting for a fallout, but they're going to win. Casey's going to win, and I agree with you here. It's just I don't know if they can cover that 10 points. They haven't proven it. They really haven't.
It's definitely going to be interesting to see how the Browns come out with their coaching staff intact. They're going to get Petonio back this week, so that's huge for their offensive line. And it's going to be very interesting to see if they can. For me, can they get the first score? If they can get the first score, that's going to be huge for them. If they fall behind 7-0 and that turns into 10 or 14-0, I think it's going to be a long day for the Browns.
Well, and I almost think they need to win the coin toss, and here's why. Because I think if they win the coin toss, they defer. And if they defer, I think they have a better shot of their defense making Mayfield comfortable with a lead. Just like they did last week, even if it's not a lead, with a 3-and-out, with a hold, they give Baker some confidence. But I don't think Baker can handle the pressure of starting the game. I don't think he's there. So and that's why I say it goes to the coin toss. If they go to the coin toss in whatever the case may be, however it works out, that they get the ball first, I don't think Baker's going to handle that pressure. Now, I think I could almost guarantee their first script of the play has the first 3 plays are running plays. Play 4 is a bootleg with Baker off. But it's a naked run with Baker off the other side. But but I still don't know if Baker's there yet. I don't.
Yeah, and that's the thing, right? We don't know. We've seen Mahomes win a championship. We haven't seen Baker Mayfield win jack crap.
He beat a shitty Steelers team. All right, let's move on to the geriatric bowl.
Yes. This is the game I'm looking forward to. I'm going to get my Old Spice out and my and my bitters and soda and sit there.
Whoever loses this game is warming up the nursing home for the winter.
Jiminy Christmas.
All right, dude.
Look.
You guys, I hate Tom Brady. I do, but I still respect the hell out of what he does. These are 2 Hall of Fame quarterbacks. But
exactly.
Fuck, hang it up already, for Christ's sakes. Well, I love you and you're great, but hang it up.
Yeah, you said it. I mean, you got to be impressed. I mean, Brady's 43, and I mean, he put up incredible numbers for someone who's playing quarterback at age 43. I'm jealous. I'm not going to lie about that. I'm jealous.
I agree.
But,
I agree.
Yeah, when does it end? I don't know. He wants to play until he's 45. He might get his wish.
Yeah, and I don't blame them. Like I don't blame them at all. If I can still do something that I love at that age, I'm going to keep doing it and keep performing. And good for them. Like I said, I hate Brady. Can't stand the man, but I respect the hell out of him, and I understand what he's doing, and I totally get it. Mm-hmm. But at some point, like I don't understand. You saw Breeze get hurt this year. Like that made him think about retirement. Brady, that's gonna happen. And every week I say, man, I hope he breaks his fucking leg. And really, I never really want somebody to get hurt. I'm just saying that because I hate him so much. But like it could happen. You're 90 years old. Like that's so easy for you to happen in the NFL, and I'm surprised it hasn't yet.
Well, and I was talking about, I don't remember who I was talking about this several weeks ago, but, Breeze has been the quarterback in New Orleans for 15, 16 years, and they pay him this huge sum of money to continue to come back. But you're kind of you're kind of paying that money going, you know what? I don't have to waste a first-round draft pick on a quarterback. I got my guy here. Yeah, he's 41, but I'm pretty confident he's going to play until he's 43. So I can spend that money elsewhere, or I can take my first-round pick and pick a offensive lineman, and then I can go take my third-round pick and pick a running back, and now I have Alvin Kamara, and now look at my offense. Yeah. It's unbelievable. So, it's quite incredible the way that these two quarterbacks are playing at this stage in their career. Being said,
it's insane. I will say this though, talking about this game, and we're going to talk about winners and losers here. The over under in the Saints game is 7-1 for the under in the last 8 Saints game. 7-1 is the under.
Yeah, I fell for that last week. What a disaster.
Well, hey, I'm just saying, I don't think – I think New Orleans comes out on top. It is at home. I don't think Tampa Bay has the weapons to go against the number 2 rated defense. Like, I don't think they're going to be able to hang. I test Tampa Bay does not look good. And I've been on Washington's bandwagon. I picked them last week. I picked them to upset Pittsburgh. I picked them a lot of times. I've been on their bandwagon. I like Washington. But when you look at the seasons, when you look at the numbers, Tampa Bay should have fucking steamrolled Washington, and it was a close game. And Washington was playing with a backup quarterback. Now, Heineke did great. I think he got more praise than he should have, because I think Tampa Bay made him look better than he was. And I'm not taking anything away. He had a great performance. He did well. But I think their defense made him look better than he was. And part of that may be because they were planning for an Alex Smith that couldn't move. And then when they had to go to Heineke, somebody who could move, they weren't ready for it. But I still think they made him look better than he was. So watching that, I don't think, you're seeing Tom Brady yell at the team on the sidelines to get him hyped up, to get him in there. I don't think you're going to be able to do that. And man, what is freaking the hardest thing in the world to do is beat a team 3 times. Okay, I used to coach softball, I used to coach baseball. In Arizona, we played them we play the same team in the same week, 2 days. And then it comes to playoff and we got to beat them again. It's like, man, it's hard to beat a team the 3rd time in a row. But fucking New Orleans has kicked the shit out of Tampa Bay this year. I think Brady has like 12 interceptions, and 5 of them are against the Saints. Something like that. I'm not exactly sure if those are exact numbers, but it's something crazy where it's almost half of his interceptions are the 2 games against the Saints. I don't think anything's going to change. I really don't think Arians and Leftwich are going to have a good enough game plan to beat Peyton's defense. I don't.
Well, and we've talked about the Rams defense, and we talked how the Packer defense is, nobody talks about them, and they're still a top. This game features 2 top 10 defenses. Mm-hmm. Okay, New Orleans is 4th, and Tampa Bay is 9th, and we're talking about Tampa Bay playing like a crap defense, and they were less than impressive last week. I agree with you, and you're right. New Orleans, in the 2 games against Tampa Bay, that first game with the opening week, that was a 34-10 game at one point before Tampa Bay started coming back. And then the second time they played, they just beat the living crap out of them. It was 35-0 or 38-0 or something at halftime.
Yeah.
And the Tampa Bay defense is going to get their quarterback that doesn't move very well here in Drew Brees. But I would expect then to see a lot of Taysom Hill on short yardage situations for the Saints, even if it's in the middle of the field. I would expect to see Hill a lot. I'm not super impressed with Tampa Bay. I feel like something is missing. I think the Saints are the best team in this conference.
I agree.
And when I watch Tampa Bay, I'm sitting here wondering, like, how is your record the way it is when I'm looking at you and you're not impressive?
Because they haven't played any winning teams. They've only played 5 teams that finished with winning records, and they're 1-4 outright against those teams and 2-3 against the spread on those teams. So they can't play winning teams. They can beat the teams they're supposed to beat, but good teams beat the team they're supposed to beat, and then they win some they're not supposed to. And they haven't won enough that they're not supposed. They've won 1 game out of 5 that they might not have supposed to win. I mean, winning records doesn't necessarily mean they should have won, but they just don't have it. I don't see where they're going to get there.
I mean, all right, I just want to add one more thing. I think this game's going to come down to Alvin Kamara. If he has a day like he had against the Vikings a few weeks ago, this game's going to be over. And I don't even mean the 5 touchdowns. I mean, if he runs the ball like he did, this game's going to be over very quickly. Tampa Bay has to throw the ball. They have to. I'm not sold on Leonard Fournette. They need to throw the ball, and if they cannot throw the ball and and the Saints can run the ball halfway decently, they're going to win this game.
Oh, you can't stop Kamara. He's those teeth and everything. You're not going to stop that man. He's a stud. All right, let's get to our picks. So I'm going to start off, and I'm going to start off with my Buffalo Bills on my straight pick. I'm taking them on the money line, 20 to win 14. Like I said, it's going to be a close game, but Buffalo is going to pull it out in the end. We've already argued about that. What do you got for your straight pick?
My straight bet, I'm going to the Geriatric Bowl. I'm taking the over in this one, even though you tell me it's not necessarily a great pick. I see this game. I see New Orleans pulling this out 37-24. I think they're going to win this game. So I'm going to take the over in this game, take my $33 and try and make it back.
God, Tony, I always want you to win. The under is 7-1, 7-1 in Saints games. They're not scoring enough points, and they're going to hold. Like you said, the key to this game is Kamara. He's going to run the ball. He's going to slow down the game, which does not allow for a lot of points. Even though he had 6 touchdowns a couple weeks ago.
You're exactly right, but I'm looking at the first time they met. I think the second time they met was a complete aberration. There's always one game where just freaking nothing goes right, and that was the Tampa Bay game against New Orleans. I see them getting up to the 51.5 pretty easily.
I hope you're right for your sake.
Me
All right,
too.
let's move to the parlay. So I'm doing something different this week.
Show me.
My parlay is all prop bets.
This is magical.
I'm taking all prop bets. I'm sticking with my Buffalo Bills. I'm going all in on my Buffalo Bills this week. So if they do lose, if you're right, I'm going to hate you for a while. I'm going to cry. I'm in a fetal position. I'm going to throw stuff. It's going to be miserable at the cow's house. But I'm going in. Josh Allen's going to throw over 2.5 touchdown passes. Look, last week, Tennessee, they held them to a lot, but it's Josh Allen. Like, he thrives against the blitz. And we already talked about that. I think he's going to have, even if they don't win, and that's one thing I do love about prop bets. Even if you don't win, you can still win your bet. It has I don't want to say it doesn't have anything to do with the score, but it has nothing to do with the final outcome. Okay, you can get there and still lose, which would suck.
Exactly. You could lose that game 36-35, but still hit your parlay.
Correct. So I'm taking him over 2.5 passing touchdowns. And look, for Buffalo to win, for him to win, he is going to. You saw there was a little uncomfort. It was his first playoff win, along with Lamar's first playoff win. Now you got three quarterbacks that were drafted in the same draft. Okay, and you're starting to see, and then you got Mahomes drafted in a different one. You're starting to see the shift. We got to Geriatric Bowl. Those guys are on their way out, and they're fantastic. They're going to be Hall of Famers. They're great quarterbacks. They're going to be Hall of Famers, but they're on their way out. And now you're seeing this 2017 team draft come in. You're seeing Mahomes come in. All these guys are coming in. Now you got Lamar, who won his first game, and Allen won his first game. Allen almost had that freaking fumble at the end there, made me freaking hold my breath. And I think he's got his butterflies out in the playoffs. Okay, Lamar looked good the whole time. Other than that first pick, I think he got it together after that first pick last week. But I think Allen's got his butterflies out, and I think he knows I've got to go to my reliable people. I got to go to who I know. So I have Allen going over 2.5 passing touchdowns. I've got Beasley getting a touchdown. I got Diggs getting a touchdown. I got Dawson Knox getting a touchdown. Okay, if they all get at least one touchdown, and Josh Allen throws over 2.5, which if all of them get one, that's 3. My $10 is going to win me $280. Okay, $280. Now, for $10, I'll take that. You're trying to call out who's going to score, but I really think he's going to go to who he feels most comfortable with. Obviously, Diggs, he was the best wide receiver this year, had the most yards, most receptions. He's going to go to Diggs. He's going to go to Beasley. He always feels in pressure situations. He feels good with Beasley, and in the red zone, he's always hitting Knox. I mean, you saw last week with that broken play where he tried to run and nothing happened. I don't see how this loses.
Yeah, I really love what Cole Beasley has meant to this team the last 2 seasons. He's such an underrated pickup. Like, Dallas just let him go, and they're going, why? I mean, look at this. He's turning. You know who he reminds me of a lot. He reminds me of Buffalo's Julian Edelman is what he reminds me of.
Yeah, I agree.
And I really see that. We're going to talk in a minute how I bet against Buffalo, but I see this has a really good chance of happening.
What do you got for your parlay?
For my parlay, I'm going to Arrowhead. I'm gonna go against everything you said. I'm gonna lay the 10 points at Kansas City, and I'm gonna take the over. I think this game goes 42-21. I see the Chiefs getting out to a big lead and just sticking it to the Browns. And I'm not saying this like I don't think the Browns are bad. I think they're turning the corner, which is fantastic. It's great for Cleveland. I don't think this is their time. I think Kansas City is just too good. I see Kansas City putting up 40 on their own. And as we talked about, if the Browns have to play from behind, they're in trouble. And I see that happening very, very quickly in this game.
Well, and like I said, I always hope you win. And I think Kansas City wins it. That's why my next bet, I take Kansas City on the money line. Everybody says Kansas City's too good. Kansas City's too good. They're legit. They're great. They're great. And yes, they've only lost one game. But when I think of a team that I think is great and fantastic and they're going to beat everybody, they're blowing people out. And Kansas City is not blowing people out. And that's where I look at it and go, man, I think they win this game. I think that I don't care who plays them in the next round, whether it's Buffalo or Baltimore. It's going to be Buffalo. But whether it's Baltimore or Buffalo, I don't care who plays them. Kansas City's got a big worry. They got a big worry whoever they're playing next.
I agree with you. I 100% agree with you.
That's why this -10 part of that really throws me off. You're right. It could go over. I can see that. I don't necessarily agree with that, but I could see it. I don't know that Kansas City can win this by 10. I really don't. I hope, like I said, I hope for your sake you're right. But all right, let's move on to my round robin.
Sunday for sure. Yeah, let's see your round robin.
So I got Buffalo on the money line. Obviously, we know that. I already talked about Kansas City on the money line, and I got the Saints on the money line. I think all three of those games are going to be close. That's why I don't like the 10. But I'm going to take it, my $10 on each, the 2s and the 3s. It's a $40 bet. It's going to win me $60. They're all favorites. It's not a lot of money, but I'm going to take my winnings and run away with it.
Yeah, I mean that's solid. That's a solid pick right there. Is going with the 3 favorites and taking that and going to the window with that. I think you have a really good chance at that. I mean, we do disagree on the Buffalo and Baltimore a little bit, but I mean, we're talking about you're putting together a round robin where let's say Buffalo doesn't come through, but Kansas City and New Orleans do. You still get some of that $40 back, which is exactly what a round robin is designed to do.
Correct. What do you got on yours?
Oh my, you're probably going to hate mine. I actually went with New Orleans as well. I went with Green Bay on Saturday, and I went with Baltimore. I know, man. I know we're going to be fighting that day, and you're probably going to stick it to me. But I'm really impressed with the Ravens and the way they're playing.
I agree. Josh Allen is a boss. But here's the thing. It's just like you just said, if Baltimore loses that, you actually – Baltimore is the underdog in this, so you're actually really hoping they win because that is going to get – even if one of the other teams wins, that's going to make you more money as the underdog winning. Mm-hmm. But Green Bay if you're going to take Green Bay, I think you take them on a money line. I think it's going to be a close game.
I do too.
I think LA comes out on top, but we'll see. Rodgers might be too good, and it wouldn't surprise me either way. That's why you'll notice in none of mine. Well, I don't have LA or Green Bay winning in straight bets. Now I teased them, but that's just because it was so many points. But because I'm scared of that game, I really am. That is the one game where I really can't get a read on it. The eye test just scares me on both of them. Yeah. So
I totally see that. I can totally see that. Well, let's talk about your teaser since you mentioned it. Let's see what you got there.
So I went LA Green Bay and I teased it up and I'm going under 51.5. Look, there's not going to be a lot of points in that. And people are saying, oh, Green Bay is going to get Rodgers going to get the over himself. I don't think that defense is going to let them. So I'm going to tease it up and take the under. Buffalo, Baltimore, I'm going to tease it down. Look, I'm scared of this one. I'm really scared of this over because the Buffalo over pushed last week. Baltimore didn't even freaking come close. I am a little worried, but I'm taking the fact that Allen is good against the blitz and that Buffalo's defense can't stop the freaking run. So I think both of those are going to allow for a lot of points. and I'm going to tease it down 49, 50 points. It's kind of tough, but I think 43.5, where you're getting into the 23 to 22 type games, that gets me a win. So I'm taking that. And look, the LA Rams, Green Bay could win this. The Rams could win this. I'm not sure which way it's going to go, but I really do think it's going to be a close game. And when you're giving me 12.5, almost 2 touchdowns, I'm going to take that almost every time. So I'm taking I'm going to tease that up to 12.5, LA Rams plus 12.5. And my 20 is going to win me 32.
That, dude, our teasers are almost carbon copies. I have also Buffalo and Baltimore over. I see that being a 24-21 game, and that covers the over. And if Josh Allen throws 3 touchdown passes, that could cover your parlay too.
Yep.
I also took the Rams with that defense. 12.5 points is way too many. I teased the point total down in the Green Bay game to take the over. It moved it down to 39.5. So that's a game, Cows, where both of us could win. There's
12-point difference right there.
Yeah, if that score breaks the right way, we could both win. And then I took Baltimore. I figured if you're going to give me 2.5, I'll even take 8.5 and see how it goes.
I'm not going to fault you for that. Baltimore plus 8.5 is a great bet. I think Buffalo wins it, but I think it's close. I think Baltimore plus 8.5 is still a great bet. And 20 to win 50, I'll take that all day long. You're on
100%. 100%. All right, let's end some prop bets.
All right, so I already got 4 prop bets in there, but that's all on Buffalo. I am taking a plus 186 prop bet. Rodgers is going to throw an interception. Now, I bet on Brady to throw an interception last week. He didn't come through for me. The bastard. Washington didn't do it. But I think the Rams defense is too good. I think Jalen Ramsey is going to come across and he's going to make something happen.
I think it's great. I think you have a great shot. I mean, they're gonna throw the ball a ton. You know it's going to happen, and how are the Rams going to defend it? They're gonna stick 5 back and make Rodgers beat their best.
Correct. And here's the thing. I think it's going to be like Baltimore last week. Green Bay is going to have fans in the stands. First time all year. Rodgers is going to come out pumped up, ready. He's got fans in there. Granted, it's only 6,000, but he's going to have fans in there. He's going to be ready to go. He's going to be hyped up. It's going to be cold. He's not going to be ready. He's going to think the Rams aren't going to be ready for it, but they are. And first half, he throws an interception. I don't want to get too ballsy and say first quarter, but first half, he throws an interception. Green Bay could still end up winning it, but I still think he throws an interception. So I'm going to put 10 down to win 18.
All right, sounds good. I am going back to Kansas City. Well, actually, the Kansas City game. I'm taking under for Baker Mayfield's passing yards. I'm taking under 260.5. I think they're going to try and run the ball. And then if they get behind, I'm concerned if they get behind, because then it's going to be a Jerry Lewis throw-a-thon for Baker Mayfield. But I don't see them. I just don't see him being that successful. He had 263 last week. I think that if Cleveland's going to win, I'll say this: if Cleveland's going to win that game, that passing total is going under.
Well, I agree, and not only is it, their Chubb Hunt handoff, it's Baker coming around on a naked bootleg and running the ball and not throwing it. So this is pass yards only. This is not total yards by Baker Mayfield. So that's where I think 260.5 is a good bet for you. Your $5 wins you 4. I like that bet.
Yeah, it's the Browns and the Rams are in similar situations as far as their opponent, because they need to be successful running the ball and keeping the opposite quarterback off the field. And if they can do that, they're going to have a higher chance of success rather than letting Mahomes or Rodgers throw the ball over the bloody field.
I agree 100%. All right, guys, that concludes our divisional weekend edition. I hope you guys had a great time. We had a great time. Dude, if nothing else, I love spending time with my brother Tony every week.
Yes.
This is just for fun. We don't guarantee anything here, but please share, please like, please subscribe, please do all that stuff, guys. We're just doing this for fun. We're not getting paid anything, but we are enjoying it, and we love seeing views. We love seeing likes. I got calls from people saying, "Hey, this is awesome. Keep doing it, whatever." And I love that stuff. I really do. So please, if you love it, share it, subscribe, do all that stuff. And we hope to see you next week. And I hope to see my Bills, go Bills, in the conference championship next week.
Good luck to you, brother. I hope for your sake that they come through for you.
All right, brother. Love you. See you next week.
All right. Bye now.
Bye.